Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Whew,
What's up?
I got a little too heated.
Oh, you let Bruce get under your skin, huh?
Yeah, he just I just don't get it, man. I just don't know how you keep going down I used to be a little bit like that at times.
What's that?
Just kind of having that keep like fighting just to fight, you know, not not being comfortable with the quiet, you know.
Who, me or you?
No, I mean like I used to be a little bit like Bruce in some ways when I was younger, but
Oh, yeah.
ultimately I wasn't happy. So like whenever I'm calling Bruce out, I'm just like I just remember when I started changing is when I started getting a lot of pushback from a lot of people, but I just think Bruce is just
Oh, he's
uh,
numb. He's
he's
numb to it.
numb.
Yeah, he's deaf and blind for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you,
man.
you got to go back. You got to go back and listen to me and Pike's talk. He says the same thing we do. He just has to come around to understanding it's the Catholic or Orthodox.
Yeah. I think that yeah, I don't under it's funny because right, I was a Protestant my whole life, but now I can't understand how I ever thought some of the things I thought,
Oh,
you
I'm
know?
sure.
And like just looking at it, like, cause like not now that I'm where I'm at, um, I realize that I might give Daniel the link to actually Daniel, if you're looking at this. Um, I just kind of like at some point when you finally have order and structure to these things, you realize that there were a lot of things that you thought were important that don't matter at all, and a lot of things that you thought didn't matter that are the most important.
Yeah, well, never mind the fact of how we actually live a Christian life and hold each other accountable. If it's just more relativism with the Bible, I don't see any difference than reading those the Four Agreements or anything. You're just trying to be better, and it's a book of wisdom.
Yeah, right? Like if there's not a I mean, yeah.
Well,
And
for example, I've been talking to my uncles and aunts and stuff. I don't usually, but they're lapsed Catholics, so they give me and my sister grief because we're so open about our faith.
mhm.
And so they're saying things like, "Oh, that's Baptist. We don't. I don't do that. I just try to be the best person I can be, and I let God judge me." And I'm like, "That's Baptist." I'm like, "As Catholics, we have to go to church every day." Da, 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 da. So they ended up dropping it when I pushed back. But it's nice because as Catholics and Orthodox, we can make assertive statements. Whereas if you're just like a
Yeah.
non-denom or a Protestant, like you can't tell someone they have to go to church or tell someone they can't get a divorce or like you make any positive claims, you know?
Yeah, and like it's it's funny before you hopped out I was well I guess you were listening but I mean what I was telling Bruce about being divorced and not envying him I'm just telling the truth like and we live in such a world where what's right doesn't matter if it hurts someone's feelings and
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Well,
know
when you don't have a right or wrong from a church or God, then yeah, exactly.
yeah and then like just like he was you just end up making accusations I mean for that guy to tell me I envy him is hilarious because my life is awesome. I've got an amazing wife who's way holier than me, who really she really goes to Christ in everything, and it makes me it's always reminding me that I need to keep stepping up and being a better man and following God's authority and being an authority in my household and being a better dad and like and if you don't have truth, if you don't have truth in your faith, if there's no truth, then you're in a spiritual delusion. You're not. You can't explain why you believe what you believe because maybe your story of why, like it's just a bunch of stories that we tell or experiences that we hope someone will resonate with or something, but when it comes down to it, it's about getting to the truth of the matter because a lot of people are wasting so much time and they're not getting to experience that fullness of the faith. They're not getting to experience what it's like to like commit yourself and be duty bound. And
Yeah.
people are
Well,
living to experience.
one thing that I found super interesting is I've heard it. It's anecdotally, but I've heard it a lot of times. Protestants who have converted to Orthodox or Catholic Church, the first confession that they do, it kind of hits them like a ton of bricks how sinful they actually are. It's something
Mhm.
about like our examination of conscience and what we consider sins and not sins that they
Mhm.
realized how kind of easy they were taking it on themselves as Protestants. I find that it was very fascinating.
Yeah, when you have to do confession, you actually feel the weight of your sins, and that's a gift from God because it allows us to work on ourselves and reconcile ourselves to Him.
Well, from what I've heard, it almost seems like they didn't think half of what they were doing was like sin
Yeah.
because they thought they were pretty good people, and then they become Catholic or Orthodox, and they're like, "Oh wow, no, I gotta say sorry for that. That's way worse than I thought it was." And
Mhm.
it just seems like they view sin differently, which is just mind blowing to me. Like, because you think logic, you think in theory they're just switching a denomination, and like they still knew what they were doing, but they just didn't think they had to go to a guy, and they had said
Yeah.
sorry to God or whoever, and now they just have to do it to a guy. But no, there's something else where they're like, it kind of was like, whoa, I didn't realize how miserable of a person I was, and I just find that interesting
I've got
in
a
the most humbling way, you know what I mean? Not beating
yeah.
themselves up. They're almost grateful to realize how wretched they were, you know?
Yeah, I heard from a woman I knew who had gotten an abortion, and she struggled with it for a long time, and then she became Orthodox. And she struggled with this for a long time about it, and it took her a long time to finally bring it to confession and tell the priest. And
Uh-huh.
she realized she shared a story where she was just like she confessed it as murder, right? She's like, "I
Amen.
committed murder," and she got to
Amen.
confess that and have that absolution. And to call it what it is, she expressed this if it was just like, "Oh, I just got an abortion." No, she confessed to murdering a person. And
Yes. Yeah.
the weight that was lifted off of her shoulders to be able to put it in such terms and to say it in such an honest way changed her life, like,
And to
changed her
be
entire
forgiven
life.
for it.
Yeah, and to be forgiven for it. And that's what we're trying to get to, and that's, people who are trying to pick and choose, and I think I get really frustrated because I want them I want
Well, and another thing with the with things like abortion or adultery or divorce and stuff, I feel like a lot of people instead of admitting what they've done and asking for forgiveness and
they call it
realizing it's
something else.
wrong, they almost yeah, and then they condone it and promote it to other people instead of so because there's a lot of people like I watched this like abolitionist rising guy, and there's a lot of Christian women who are like proud or like so pro choice, and you end up finding
Yeah.
out it's because they had one. But as you said, someone like that woman who goes to confession, now you can like speak out against it, even though it's somebody who's done that sin. Instead of
Yeah, because you
promoting
put
it
that
more
sin
or
to death.
condoning it, you're
Yeah.
like, no, that's wrong. And even I've done it too, and we need to stop doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you ever saw that these pro-choice rallies, but, at one point, there was something called "Shout Your Abortion." Do you remember that?
No.
It was literally they would, like, shout that they were proud they got an abortion. It was called "Shout Your Abortion." And it's just, like, one of the most evil, wicked things I think I've ever seen. And it's, well, I'm evil, I might as well just go all the way. I might as well just fall into despair and just be evil, because I think some people think there's no way out. They don't realize
Well,
that they're
not, Well, that's the beauty of God in His church and the fullness of the truth, because it's like not only is that He create man and woman and like one man and woman per marriage and all that, but like only men can serve God,
Mhm.
and it's very segregated in that sense because it's a slippery slope. If you don't know the difference between a man and woman, now you think men can be women, women can be men, and it's all just relative. And but no, there's meaning to life, and
Yeah, and that's Satan right there, is divide and conquer. I mean, right now we have one of the worst issues ever where it's like women against men. There's just such a divide. And I actually think with all this danger we have in America, with all these illegal immigrants and a lot of the danger that's popping up from certain cultures, uh, specifically Muslim cultures moving into our communities, women are starting to realize they do need their men to be protectors. Um, and what's crazy is what put them in this situation in the first place is their empathy and them thinking they know better than the logic of a man. Whereas, like, most men would say, "Hey, let's not bring these people here. Let's help them where they're at and teach them to fix their own thing. And if they don't, that's their problem." Whereas, like, women
yeah,
want to, yeah,
I couldn't agree more.
yeah,
Well, the
they,
problem is with this feminism, because I know even a buddy of mine, I just asked him the other day. I said, like, who wears the pants in your relationship? And he said neither. Like we ask each other, and I called him a feminist, and he didn't like that. And I'm like, but literally, you're like, what do you mean? Like, someone has to wear the pants. So if it's not you, it's her. There's no neither of us. Like, someone's the
yeah,
head of a family.
it's in my family. It is me. It is 100% me. Maybe I'm not as typical in a lot of ways as some other heads of the family or some dads, but I mean, when it comes down to it, my wife submits to my will, and I'm the final vote, and
Amen.
that's that.
Amen.
And I mean, there's
Yeah, and
nothing
that's
wrong with that.
no, yeah, amen. Yeah, good point. Well, that's why, because when I asked him too, the way he was explaining it, because he said, like, yeah, like everybody knows that it should be like 50-50, and you ask everyone. So I told him, I was like, oh, well, there's like a whole debate going on about like if men should leave the household or if it should be a shared thing. So like since you are so adamant that it's like a no-brainer, how did you figure this out? And then he switched to, well, that's just my opinion, of course, but like, who wouldn't think that like it's a 50-50 thing? And it so, but that's because that feminist mindset, because it does sound nice and it sounds like you're
Yeah.
mean if you're like, I'm not going to let my wife have a 50% say, and like but like if you logically that plays out horribly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my wife has a say in the fact of like I'm paying attention to what she wants out of life. I'm paying attention to like what the things that make her happy. But I'm not going to do things that are not good for her. So I'm not going
Exactly.
right. So I'm not going to do things that are not good for her. I don't have Christian Pike's. I would
Yeah,
like. Can you?
but we kind of understand as good virtuous men that's baked into the pie of being the leader that a woman would choose,
Yeah.
which I find funny, and I appreciate that it took you a while to get to that point, because my buddy said neither of us, so I called him a feminist, and then I asked my buddy Daryl, I think he was on, and he said me, bro, and then he said, but and then he caveated it with, but obviously I take my wife's into, and I'm like, yeah, that's baked into the pie. Um, but I feel
Well,
like
yeah. It's not.
feminism's gone so wild, Jess, that men, even some men who are like, I wear the pants, they still feel like they have to put that caveat. But I'm not a tyrant. Like, like a man can't lead his household without not being a tyrant is kind of the implication.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hold on, I'm gonna send Christian Pike the link in case he wants to join because he's good people too. But I,
He
I
was
think
sleeping
Christian
though.
Christian probably lines up on this. I don't know. He said howdy in the chat. Um, but yeah, I think the thing is like people have made a cartoon of people have made this kind of like cartoon of like, oh, any man who wants to lead is a tyrant. And it's like you shouldn't have to make that caveat. You know, like if you love your family and you lead your family, I mean, maybe you don't even do it that well, but your wife should follow your lead, and your wife should only get to make that commitment that one time, like, just she picked you and she married you, and she picked wrong and she feels like she picked wrong later, like, that's her cross to bear then, you know? And
Yeah, yeah. But also, like you said, the fact that they should have kind of like sorted you out to a bunch of different
yeah,
quarters or
right?
suitors, and so you're the one who she deemed most likely to be a good provider and protector and leader. And
Yeah. Well, it's sad because ultimately it leaves women unfulfilled. It takes away from their design. Like, think about how amazing it probably is, to be a woman, especially towards the end of her life, even though she has lost most often she's lost her leader, her husband, but that when she passes away, that she's going to be hopefully surrounded in a room full of people that she made, right?
yeah,
And the
like
beauty of
a successful great grandmother with like
yeah.
37. Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, just imagine, like, and they don't value that. They don't understand how valuable that is. Like, women don't understand.
Well, in their defense, they're being fed lies, so they're being
Yeah,
lied to. Not
they're
that
being lied
deep
to.
down they know.
Yeah. Hey, Christian,
Welcome, brother Pike. Audio technical difficulties.
he'll get it. It's, if you go to where it says mute down there, you click that little arrow next to it, and then you should be able to change your audio input.
Well, what one of the things that you're probably familiar with this, just one of the things that I find interesting is so much has happened in the last 100 years, and most people just kind of go about their daily lives and just kind of don't really think about much. But it's like how we live, things that we do, it's so different and foreign to like all of human history.
Yeah. You know, it's Marxism, it's I mean, the thing is, like, a lot of the root cause of a lot of this stuff.
Not even that. Even just like communication, like we can like send a tech email or FaceTime someone in China, whereas like during the revolution, it take like 3 months to even inform England that we're revolting.
So I can see Christian's thing moving, but I can't hear him.
I can't either.
That's so weird. Let
Sorry,
me
brother Pikes. Satan's working overtime on you.
he's trying, man. What if it was Bruce somehow? Like, what if Christian just played a funny on us and he just, like, sent Bruce the link?
Here's a question, but here's a question. Here's a question for you, Jess. See if you
Alright.
can, because you're a married guy, and I know you watch like Andrew Wilson and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I find super interesting is the fact that men would prefer a virgin woman, but if a guy's a virgin, the girls think there's something wrong with them. So that is super interesting, no?
I do think that's interesting for sure, yeah. Obviously, men should protect their chastity as well, but there is that's,
Well, no, I agree. I agree. But what about the fact that a guy who tries to be a virgin like a woman, the girl's gonna think there's something wrong with them, which would make it counterintuitive to remain chaste if you're a guy. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, I think that it's I've learned a little bit about that world of things, and what they call it is pre-selection. So, like, if a woman guards herself and protects her chastity, that is very, very attractive to us, because
Amen.
we want them to be ours for the rest of our lives together, like, that's what we want. We don't wanna have to worry about whose kids those are, there's a lot of advantages, but I think with women, when they see that a guy is good with other women, that is attractive to them because women can be kinda competitive as far as, like, it's more competitive than it is just like this this woman, I like this woman, this one fits my needs, and they can be a little more competitive and overthink these things and be catty towards each other. So like if a woman sees,
Wow.
you know what I mean? Like if a woman sees that other women like you, like I think that's how being a movie star works. And like if enough women see a movie star and you have enough women saying, "Oh, he's so hot," then it just keeps building on itself. And then that guy has a whole bunch of options. Even if he's like a
I've even
typically
heard
normal
I've
looking
I've
guy.
even, I've even heard of guys who will wear a wedding ring when they're not married when they go out just because more women will approach them.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah, I
crazy.
guess psychologically it works.
Well,
Well,
I
that
mean,
speaking of, hey, as Christian men, how horrible is it? How horrible is that women are more liable to approach a guy who's obviously taken? That's a sin.
it is a
That's
sin, but in the animalistic brained kind of way of seeing things, if you're just like thinking on a base level and not, that's why you have to find a woman in
and that's why
church.
we need God. Yeah, Jess.
Yeah, that's why we need God. That's why you have to find a girl that's in church, because you don't want the girl that comes up to you because you wore the wedding ring to the bar. That that's
Right.
that's that's why, like if I were to give a friend who is young, who is looking for a wife, I would
Okay, I'm
say,
listening, Jess.
all right,
I'm listening because I'm young.
all right, bounce around to every parish. Bounce around to the different parishes and get to know people in different parishes. Um, obviously you have your home church and that's important. But like kind of networking and meeting other people in different parishes is probably a great place to start, because when you're the new guy, you might get some attention there. So that's
Just
one
like in
thing.
high school.
Yeah, and I would say also, obviously look for women who are more traditional, want to wear head coverings, are
Oh,
very
now you're talking my language.
right. So you're looking for a girl who wears head coverings. You're looking for a girl who seems more devout. And I feel like it's, when I was a Protestant, it was backwards, because the women that seem very devout in Protestant churches usually turned out to be
Uh
kind of
huh.
crazy, kind of crazy.
Hey, I've had that anecdotal same experience.
Yeah. Like the ones that were really like just like all in for
The church
Jesus, and
girl.
and and,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it just, yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why, but it actually makes sense in the Orthodox churches and the Catholic churches, because the women I see that are always, they're always there. They're always at church. Now it gets to a certain level, if they're just always at church all the time, they might want to be a nun. You just don't know. But yeah, that's what I would do if I was a young guy that was Catholic or Orthodox, is I would bounce
Now, if
around the
you're a young
different
cat, hey,
parishes.
if you're a young Catholic guy, what about a nice Pentecostal lady?
I would stay far away from that.
But Brother Pike has a nice Pentecostal lady for me.
Look, I almost ended up giving Daniel a very, very hard time back when he went to that singles thing, because he was talking to Terry, and I'm like, Terry's not Orthodox. Go find an Orthodox woman. Like I should have, man. I should have. And look how that ended up, right? But like, I should have been like, man, just go to your
Now, hey, now
retreat,
she's worshiping on Saturday, huh?
right? Well, apparently he's worshiping Saturday, Sunday, right? Did you know that Charlie Kirk took the Sabbath seriously? Like he would, oh gosh. Christian,
Hey, who do
how
you
open
think?
is ho I was just saying to Christian, how open do you think she is to becoming Catholic, or at least trying to drag him into the Orthodox Church?
I'm just gonna show that conversation with me and Brother Pike and say, see, we both say that there's authority. I just think it's the Pope.
There The church has authority. Like, and like, even in my eyes, the Catholic Church has authority. Um, but I wouldn't put it all under the Pope. You know?
Oh no, no, oh for sure. I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the mouthpiece for like whatever they decide on.
He just makes
He
it,
declared.
he just gets on the PA and makes the announcements.
Yeah, yeah, amen. So even so in scripture, we would say that's scriptural. So like in the Council of Jerusalem, when they decided to replace Matthias, Peter
Yeah.
stood up and he's like, it seemed good to us and the Holy Spirit that this. And so yeah, we think that's what's going on today.
Yeah. How crazy would it have been if when they had to replace the apostle, when they had to replace Judas, it was somehow Paul? Like, oh yeah,
Well, he
God
was
told us.
already one. He
Was
was
he?
already one. You know what I often think of? Imagine being what is it, Barnabas, the one who lost the cast of lots. Imagine
Yeah,
being that guy in history. Everyone remembers Matthias, and we always forget the other, the almost. You know.
yeah. Christian, does she cover her hair at church? You're gonna have to have that discussion. Yes, long dresses, long
Yeah,
hair, very much.
they're Pentecostal. They got the dress code right, if nothing else, huh, Jess?
Right. Except for there's the whole anti-Trinitarian part of things. I don't know, man. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely, like, you have a big advantage being Catholic because there's going to be multiple parishes anywhere you go. And I would like, if I were you, I would get out of your bubble. I would look at like maybe events that they have. You know, I know they do Oktoberfest and fish fries, and if you can find that stuff at other parishes, go across town sometimes, I think that would probably help you a lot. Because if you're going to the
I feel
same
like
parish,
I feel like I gotta go find me a Mary Magdalene and save her. What do you think about that?
I think that's a terrible idea.
Okay, let me cross that off the list.
So you're basically saying you're searching the arrest posters in the paper, like, I can fix her. I can fix her. How much is her bail? Oh my
We
god.
are laughing, brother Pike.
Oh, that's funny. There's actually someone added me to this Facebook group called "What's Our Bail," and it's all pictures of good-looking women's mugshots. It's like a real thing. Uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna court brother Pike's Pentecostal lady.
where
Hopefully,
does she live
even if she
near?
doesn't want
Does
to be
she at
Catholic,
least live near you?
even if
Like,
she'll at least have to let me marry her in the Catholic Church. Jess, you know how that goes. I can't be marrying outside of the
I
church.
wouldn't want to be a house divided, man. You know what I mean? No one wants to go. Like, I don't understand why that doesn't happen. Like, why do people get married from different denominations and stuff? You know, like I've never understood that. Like you might have somebody that's like a Muslim and the other one's a Jew, and you're like, what?
Aren't you guys sworn enemies?
He says she can
Hey,
cook, man.
hey, what do you think? Hey, Jess, what do you think happened with Charlie Kirk? You think that 22-year-old just woke up and was like, "I'm gonna do this"?
Well, the last thing I don't, you know what? I think that people are starting to say they think it was the boyfriend or whatever, Lance. Have you seen that?
I've seen them all. Yep.
Well, dude, the problem with all of it is like there's so many different theories about all of it that it's like who will ever know if we ever got the truth or ever
Oh,
gonna.
you probably won't. You probably won't think it's the one I think because you don't like Candace Owens.
Well, what's Candace saying lately?
She's saying she called TPUSA out.
Oh my god! I knew she didn't. I say she was going to do that. Like she was eventually
She
going to
said she
be
said
calling out
she
Erica.
She said it. She said she's starting to think Charlie was living the Truman Show. Oh well, one thing. This is separate from Candace. This isn't even coming from her. But I guess a lot of people are saying, and there's pretty good evidence that she's a Israeli honeypot. She's honeypotting. She honeypotted him.
Well, I've seen that theory too, because like apparently Trump knew her before, and they think
Yeah,
she's
it's all
working.
super suspicious. Well, at the
Well,
very least,
it's
can
just
we
weird.
agree that?
Have you seen the
Can we?
music video where she's in the music video?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All that stuff.
Yeah, the
She
music video
how
thing.
they met, looks like it was set up.
Really?
It's all, but no, yeah, because well, she said she saw him in Israel. He went to Israel one time, and she happened to see him in line. And then a couple months later, someone suggested he interview her for a job at TPUSA. So she
Uh-huh.
came in for an interview, and then Charlie had a crush on her. So instead of giving her a job, he asked her on a date. And next thing you know, they're married with children.
I don't know, man. That would be something out of a movie if that was real.
Well, what do you think about what the FBI is saying? Do you think that's fishy at all?
What are they saying?
The 22-year-old guy shot him on the roof,
Oh,
and then his
yeah,
dad
I
shot him
I
in.
think that I think I've gone over it a few times, and it's like it's just gotten to a point where I'm like, I don't really know. Like because like there's just we're never gonna find out. Like Candace was talking about underground tunnels, and then at one point she was talking about bees. She was talking about a cult of Utah bee people, and
Yeah,
like what?
yeah, she's on to something, Jess. You gotta follow her.
Oh my gosh, dude. The bees, man.
No,
Have you seen
no,
hey,
but
did you
the new,
see Steven
the new
Crowder
one.
making fun of her and they had her they put her in the Nicolas Cage movie, Wicker Man, and she's like, "Not the bees."
I
Oh,
didn't.
it's
No.
so funny.
But well, the one thing though is she's the reason that the letter they showed us the letter. But the other thing, a lot of people are giving her crap for like all these conspiracy theories, and I'm
Yeah.
like, she does just like one thing she told TPSUS. She made a definitive statement, and she's like, I just want TPUSA to either say that that's true or I'm lying. And I'm like, that's pretty easy. So like everyone's hating Candace, but TPSU they could just be like, yeah, no, she's lying, and then she'd look like an idiot. But they don't, which makes you think that there's something to what she's saying.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If my if I die, if I get assassinated and my best friend starts accusing my wife and my friends and like everyone at my company of having me killed, I don't know how I feel about that. You know?
Well, when you put it that way,
You
just
know what I mean? Like it just sounds wild.
that's gonna be Zealot's den. That's gonna be. I'm not gonna let it go. I'm like Badger Snake was doing news highlights. That's why they took him out. Too many Pam Bondi videos. It's really suspicious.
He's very suspect. I think he's been infiltrated by Mossad.
I think he was considering converting to the Catholic Church. That's what it was.
Oh no, Jess was. What could you imagine if me and you were best friends and I never said that, and you're just like, Dan, Jess at the end, Jess said he was going to convert. He had talked to a
He was
Catholic
telling me
priest.
he's kind of liking the Pope, man. He was
Dan,
gonna kiss the ring,
Dan, you don't
man. He said he was
understand.
gonna kiss
Jess
the
said
ring.
that the Catholic Church is a church. Oh my god. Dan would lose his mind.
But yeah, you were letting Bruce fire you up, huh?
I did. Man, he's so blind, man. It's so like I don't understand why you guys don't just kick him when he starts acting like that. Like I feel like if he got kicked when he started just being disruptive and fight, like I don't fight with anyone but him anymore. Like he's the only one I ever really fight with. I get along with most people, unless
Well,
it's like
it was It was impressive. He when he first came in, he didn't talk for like 15 minutes. He was like, I mean,
That's wild.
he literally didn't talk until we were like, all right, Bruce, now you
Maybe
can
he
ask your
just
question.
forgot to take the mute button off. He's like, "Wait a
it
minute, they
was
don't
it
hear
was
me."
oddly it was oddly considerate for Bruce.
Yeah, well, that's good. I wish I could have seen that part.
He was on the screen for like 20 minutes, not saying nothing, and then we were like, all right, I'm saying I'm going to answer this, and then you can ask your question, Bruce. And he waited the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, look, he did have a point. Like Silas talks forever. I, I'll tell you one thing. I wanted to give him a bit of advice before, like, it went to hell in a handbasket. I was going to tell Silas, like, he said three different things. I felt like, if he had just said one of them at a time, and then gotten feedback, and then said the next, and then I have three things. You know what I mean? Because man, he just keeps going.
Yeah, and in Bruce's defense, he was waiting the whole time, and then he did. I could see him sitting there like a kid, like hold it, like sitting there like he had to pee. And then after like 7 minutes, Bruce is like, "Okay, okay, I can't hold it anymore."
It's like, stop talking. He does the same thing though.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, well, yeah. And he'll.
Did you hear him call me
Oh,
Antichrist?
I'll never forget it. When I first met the guy, I think he stopped it because like I kicked him off or something. But if you didn't stop him, he would literally read you like the whole Bible. He'd start with what like one verse, and next thing you know, you're like 5 chapters later. He'll just literally read the Bible. You
Well,
know, David, and what that means.
I just think he just wants people to hear him talk, and he realizes, like, well, if I'm reading the Bible, Christians will probably won't make me stop talking. Oh my god, I'm gonna start doing that with my kids. If my kids, if I want to just be the one talking, I'll just start reading the Bible out loud at them so they can't talk. You know, seems like a
Yeah, well,
constructive approach.
it was nice. It was nice. Brother Pike was able to break it down for me and give me a coherent response. I was actually impressed because most Protestants are struggling. So kudos to Brother Pike, huh?
Yeah, he's good people, man. I think obviously,
My favorite part, Jess. My favorite part is he said he actually realized something he never noticed with the two or three witnesses, and then it says the church. So there's some type of differentiation there, and not even just because Brother Pike, but like anyone who's like that's kind of what I was trying to tell you. I was
yeah.
like, I'm surprised no one was kind of like, oh, like a light went off. I see what he's saying, kind of thing. But
Hmm.
even Brother Pike was like, oh, I've actually saw something what you were trying to point out,
I'll tell
which
you, man.
because he's good faith and he's good faith and objective. He's
He
not trying
is.
to like defend or yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's not just waiting for his turn to speak and say what he wants, like, and I think that's kind of the problem me and you have seen, as like, where there's no good discussions, because you really have to tailor your panel, um because certain people they just want to cause chaos, man. They don't want to have a adult conversation. They want to fight, they want to cause disorder.
Dan, so this is the second time at least that I can remember. It might have been the third that I asked Brother Pike to talk about a certain topic, and
Yeah.
we would talk about the Bible objectively, or I would ask him or whatever, and we'd have a nice, friendly, just like open dialogue Christian conversation, and then Gangsta opens the panel, and Daniel comes in like debating him, and I'm like, Daniel, this isn't like a debate hostile thing right now. And I
he
feel bad for Brother Pike because like I feel like I set him up like we're just having a night, and then Daniel comes in to debate him about it, and I'm like that
Yeah.
wasn't the plan, but that wasn't what I was doing.
Apparently the panel's still going. I just looked at it real quick. There,
Who's on
Daniel's
there
in there.
now?
Yeah, Daniel looks like he's dying inside whenever Bruce talks, but yeah, I don't know. Buttermilk? I don't even know what's going on over there, brother. But I'll tell you, man, I kind of want to do like a series talking about moral relativity.
Oh,
And
count me in. That's my favorite topic.
Yeah, I really would like to nail some things down and kind of get to the bottom of that. And also, I I have a theory. I have a theory that the Marxist kind of stuff was born of the Anabaptists because the first time there was ever like a city takeover, like a Waco type situation, um, where it just ended in a really bad siege and was the Anabaptists and the siege of Munster. So the Anabaptists took over the city. They started pushing the Catholics out. They were destroying the icon. That's the hilarious thing about that. Like Bruce was crying about people baptizing him a third time, but they were also the Anabaptists were going into the churches and smashing icons and stomping on the bones of the relics and stuff. So like
Oh, I believe it.
I could see why the Catholics would kill them for doing that. But they're it's just funny that that same sentiment, like Bruce kind of embodies that sentiment with how anti-Catholic he is, because he acts like they're his mortal enemies, which is hilarious because his mom is Catholic. Like, I
I
I'll
always
never.
forget that.
Yeah, like his mom's Catholic. That's why, like, I always tease him. I get on there and I'll be like, Bruce, go forgive your mom. He just didn't
That's
want to be
funny.
baptized, dude. But people don't
Hey,
realize that.
I don't want to end your stream, but my phone's gonna die.
Oh man, I'm probably gonna pop off soon anyway. I got some stuff to do. But hey, let's touch base. Maybe we can do like a joint project on the moral relativity stuff and we could get some panels
I'm
going.
down.
That sound
Yeah,
good?
because we need to get rid of that stuff for sure.
Yeah, we just need to bring some reason back to it and just like maybe just give people some more clear, concise way of thinking about it and just to understand it a lot of Protestantism and a lot of sola scriptura people really operate in that moral relativism approach and they
Yeah,
don't even realize it. They hate it in culture. They hate how it's caused cities to be. They hate how it affects the government, but they have it in their own faith and they don't realize that they're not getting the full faith because of that. So I think it'll
yeah,
be a good
yeah.
project.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of meat there. Because well, that's how they ended up with Christian fundamentalists because everything's so relative. So it's like, oh well, we can disagree on most of it, but as long as we agree that like Jesus is God and these five things or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, there's more to it than all that.
it's corrosive. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that and get it done.
All right, man. I'll email you sometime. I'll see you, brother.
God
All right, have a
bless.
good one. God bless. Bye.